All right, GM, everyone. Welcome back to another piece of Zyori content here. Hello, YouTube. It is 6:30 a.m., December 5th, 2021. And look at that. We already got our first raid. 190 viewers. Perfect timing to start the recording. Thank you so much, Mr. LDR. Oh, gosh, I'm going to butcher this. El Diario Crypto. Okay, that wasn't so hard. I just had to focus. But GM, I still got morning voice. I still got a messed up voice from yesterday and, of course, from the Creator Cup. And that's mostly what we're going to talk about today. Probably just going to hang out for an hour or so. But so many thoughts, so many emotions, and a lot of stuff that I wanted to reflect on here. So I figured what better way to do it than live on Twitch with no notes and no script with you fine people. So we're going to look at some clips probably. We're going to relive some moments. Maybe we'll look at a couple of tweets. And yeah, I think I'm just going to kind of talk it out, go over some of the road bumps, some of the big wins, and maybe talk future plans just a little bit. Hell yeah. You know I'm going to tease you guys. You know it. And it's great to see so many new faces here. Of course, we had a weird curveball yesterday where, Friday night, I should say. Maybe we should start at the very beginning. The Creators Cup, the Axie Infinity Creators Cup. This is a new tournament vertical that we decided to launch, honestly, about 2 months ago. The idea was brought to us actually by one of the participants in the event, a great cosplayer and actress named Myrtle. She's got an Axie scholarship and has Axies, and I got in touch with her as an influencer, and she suggested trying to do a tournament to bring people together, and we thought about it, and it actually made a lot of sense to us because while we do want our primary esports vehicle to be about the best of the best and, you know, crowning a world champion and this road to the grand finals every year as we get closer to being able to deliver like an AxieCon or an Axie Pro League and build steps towards that. So we actually have a fairly straightforward and exciting roadmap in store for like tier 1 esports, but a lot of questions still remain about that. What about like our tier 2 esports, like the contenders league? How do we make sure that there's a trajectory for the actual players that aren't pro yet but have a desire to become pro, right? What are the training grounds for these players look like? How do we identify players that are up and comers and get them into the system and give them the support they need, right? How do we enable and support commentators in the space? You know, develop more broadcast talent. That's a big thing that we need to work on. So there's a lot of angles for Axie Esports that still kind of need to be developed, and one of them is just closing the gap between the casual Axie player or your regular scholar that plays every day and the amount of people that are tuning into live esports events, right? We peaked at like 45,000 concurrent viewers on the Filipino stream on Facebook, which is amazing. I mean, that exceeds all expectations. That's an incredible turnout. And on the English side, it would have been much more, of course, on the Axie channel. I ended up being broadcast right here on the ZyoriTV Twitch channel, and I think we peaked around like 3,000 viewers. I actually didn't look at the exact numbers, but I remember seeing like 2,800, 2,900 when I looked towards the end. I think I might be exaggerating a little bit, but you know, solid numbers on the English side, and it was funny to see them kind of start high and then go down a little bit as North America and Europe went to sleep, and then start to ramp up again. It was like a 9-hour broadcast, right? So we started at like 9 p.m. my time. So it started at like 8 p.m. Pacific time, and then ran all the way until like, you know, the East Coast was actually waking up by the time the tournament was starting to wrap up. So we were ramping up in viewers for the grand finals, actually. It was pretty exciting. But the question remains, how do we connect these regular players with becoming esports viewers? Because it's a wide gap. We're coming close to like what, 3 million daily active users. We're at like 2.8 mil, 2.7 mil, something like that. I haven't seen the latest figures, but pretty big. And then when you look at that, it's like, all right, so we had 50,000 concurrents at our peak last night. I keep saying last night, 2 nights ago, for the first Creator Cup. Totally solid. I don't want to downplay that at all, but that's nothing compared to the amount of people we know are full-time, maybe not full-time, but you know, a daily active user is exactly what you think it is, right? This is a person that plays the game pretty much every day. So these are hardcore users that are well positioned to consume a lot of Axie content, especially given the nature of Axie being a play to earn game and being one where the better you perform, the more you earn. And given that a lot of scholars are motivated highly by that earnings potential, what better way to improve your game, all things equal, than to watch some of the best players in the world and hear commentary from people that can explain it to you and help break down what they're doing, see some of their decision making. So this is a big question, and I think stuff like this Creator Cup is a step to try to figure out how do we solve this, right? This is the first of many experiments we're going to run, trying to bring these lifestyle influencers, but folks that aren't just talent for hire, but are adjacent to the game. And luckily for us, Axie is big enough, especially in the Philippines, that there are legitimate actresses and on-screen talent like Eric Tai and Yasi and Myrtle and all these folks that attended this event, and we were able to mix them together with some Axie streamers and content creators, and the end result was this pretty cool tournament that was fun and competitive and an intersection of all these different fan bases. And for the Western audience, for us English speakers, it might have seemed like I don't really know who these like kind of random 8 people are. If you're from Southeast Asia, especially from the Philippines, you definitely know who most of these people are. And if you're an Axie fan from the Philippines, you might know who all of these people are. I mean, Yasi, the co-host that was with Ian, she's got like 9.5 million followers on Instagram. She just did a giant thing that's like, I don't know if it's a series or a movie that's on Netflix. I mean, she's like serious, big time. Her time's super valuable. And the fact that she was interested in working this Axie event really means a lot to us. And it was, a big honor to be able to bring somebody like that into the fold and produce a really fun event. And again, the idea is that, this isn't ultra competitive Axie Esports, even though this tournament was really competitive, which makes me even more bullish, right? Think about when we do a giant, open qualifier into this first world championship kind of a thing. I think that's totally in the roadmap for 2022. And when we talk about Origin being relatively close, like probably within a quarter or a little bit of change's time, Q1, Q2, 2022, that sets us up for some pretty exciting experimentation to happen on the esports side. So all very exciting stuff. And I think this Content Creator Cup was really pretty successful. I think the trophy was really cool. I think the 200 AXS was just enough prize to actually motivate them to really care. And I think all 8 players came appreciative of this opportunity and what this event was supposed to be a celebration of. And they wanted to perform, right? They showed up. This shit was actually really, really good. And I think the Locking 9 Axies was also a good experiment, right? We're working on building out this Axie Esports kind of drafting mode. We're still experimenting around with what that model looks like. I think I've mentioned it a couple times before. One of the examples or archetypes that I've heard people say a lot, maybe you bring 12 Axies to the tournament in any given matchup where you start the best of 3 or the best of 5. You do this draft where you each get to lock one that's safe from banning. Then you go back and forth and you each get to remove maybe like 2 Axies from each other's pool. So then you're left with 10 Axies for that specific series. Obviously, you can change them out in between any single game, like between game 1 and 2 or game 2 and 3. But you're still locked to those 10, and that adds another layer of strategy of like what Axies do you bring to the tournament, what different combinations can you make with those Axies, and how well can you read other people's compositions. This one was a little bit of a simplistic version of that. It was just bring 9 Axies. That's it. There's no draft. It's just everybody has an up to 9. If you have less, right? If you only have 2 teams, for example, you can bring 6, but the limit is 9, and that's it. You just pick from whatever Axies you have, and there you go. You can swap in between any individual games, but you kind of get used to what each players are bringing to the table, and it actually makes it easier to follow from the viewer perspective because when you're talking about a regular tournament where some players have thousands of Axies they can choose from, as spectators, even if we have their Ronins, I can't really predict what Indez is going to swap to next if he wants to pull out some pocket Axie that is just kind of hiding in his repertoire. In this case, Steven and I had a list of everybody's Axie. So when we're looking at like, all right, this is the moment between game 2 and 3, this is an elimination moment, what are we going to do? We have those data points and we can start to analyze a little bit like, well, maybe he could swap to Poison because she only has one Biden's Axie and she hasn't been playing it. So it seems like there's a good chance he could catch her off guard. All that kind of stuff becomes possible to start deducing once you have that limited data set. So a lot of little nuanced aspects of this event, I think, were really valuable for us in terms of getting those data points and starting to understand things a little bit. But it really was, I think, quite successful. The small goof, it was, of course, supposed to be on the Axie Infinity Twitch channel. There was an issue there, basically. I'm not going to go into the details, but it was a multi-layered issue with the stream key and getting access to reset the stream key. So it happened kind of at the last minute when we realized there was an issue, and the backup plan was like, well, we got this one working on Zyori's stream. Let's just start here. And then by the time it just seemed like let's just keep it straightforward. Let's not jump around. Let's not make a big deal out of it. We'll just tweet out that there was a little stream switch, and it is what it is. So that was just a little road bump there. Of course, the future Creator Cups will be on the Axie Infinity Twitch channel. And we're working on getting the VODs on YouTube as well. So that's one of the things I've commissioned our flying monkeys to start working on. We're going to make a highlight reel also because there were a lot of moments to capture. And some of those moments were captured on the Esports Twitter. Highly recommend you follow it at Esports Axie. I know it's backwards. We'll get that tag Axie Esports eventually. But that's like our Esports Twitter, where we spam it a lot more with like Axie Esports content, like clips from tournaments. And if you want to try to follow the tournament schedule, or if you're one of those people that's like, I never find the registrations before they're full, the Axie Twitter or Esports Twitter is probably a good starting point, at least. Not that we always get them early, but we try to spread that information as best we can. All right, so maybe I should stop and read chat a little bit. It was 4 women and 4 men that participated in this event as well, and it was really cool to see like Jillian and Hazel specifically like perform particularly well. These two battled in the upper bracket in the semifinals, and they were the first series to play a best of 5 that went 5 games, and then they ended up facing each other again in the lower bracket finals, battling for second or third. Well, to go to the grand finals or elimination at 3rd place. And that was where Hazel eliminated Jillian. So Jillian knocked Hazel down to the lower bracket. Lower bracket Hazel did the run, and then she was the one that ultimately eliminated Jillian, that knocked her down to the lower bracket to go on to the finals and then beat Eric and take it to 5 games. There was also a draw in the finals too, so it was actually a 6-game finals, which was extra hype. So in terms of the quality of the competition itself, like the Axie gameplay, my gosh, dude. I mean, we still have a lot of ways to go, right? I don't want to say Axie is in a perfect form by any stretch. I know we have some work to do, but this was Axie in its best form. We saw a couple of moments where crits did change things, but it didn't feel like the tournament was overwhelmed by crits. It didn't feel like there were too many super key moments that went down just to luck. There were a couple, but it wasn't so many that it felt like it ruined the tournament, right? There were a lot of moments where players mostly made the right decisions, but a couple of moments where like Eric made a few misplays with his poison team, and that cost him a little bit. Obviously Jillian had a really good run, but couldn't quite make it work against Hazel in another 5-game series. So I think that just the level of gameplay, the diversity of Axies that we saw, the quality of the Axies that the players brought, like it was very clear that they all prepared, took the competition very seriously, and that made me really happy. I was really glad that they had put in the time and that they were, there to help showcase some of the best Axie. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. OG Nasty, what up? What up? What up, buddy? God, now I lost my train of thought. So, yeah, that's, Jillian 3rd, Hazel 1st, and Eruption 2nd. That's a pretty badass top 3. And we're going to start watching clips before too long here. But, dude, Hazel, or a.k.a. Hazelia, same person, she Man, her winning moment was so amazing. Like one of the things that made me so happy about this event, right? And there were a couple bumps, right? We had a few funky mic moments at the end. Ian's mic was gained out a little too loud, and it probably broke a few headphones, right? We had a couple of road bumps, a little polish that we can work on for next time. But overall, I thought the production was pretty smooth. Like Yasi and Ian did a great job doing those segments in partial like Filipino, partial English, because that was going out to both streams, right? We had Filipino casters on site, and those were like shared content segments that were getting pushed to two different audiences. Actually, a kind of a hard thing to do where you're trying to hit all bases and make it fun for everyone. And I think Ian and Yasi, Yasi did a particularly good job at that and trying to balance, something that everybody could enjoy. Man, I lost my train of thought again here. Damn it. Having these damn Zyori subs, dude. You got me all bashful. Oh, yeah, I remember. The winning moment. Yeah. I can't tell you how many esports tournaments I've been to. And it seems like not just related to one game, because I saw it in StarCraft, I saw it in Heroes of New Earth, I saw it a little bit in early League of Legends, and prolifically in Dota 2. Cringe moments when the tournament is over. Like for some reason, so many esports events, like I guess they're so excited about the tournament, it's like they don't think about what's going to happen when the tournament's done and how they're going to end the stream. And it usually ends in like one of three ways. You either do the super abrupt cut where it's like, hey, all right, this guy won. Cool, everybody. See you later. Stream ends. You're like, wow, okay. I'm still like up here in energy because that was so exciting. And you just rug pulled me. Okay. There's the just awkward, like we don't have a plan trophy moment where the pro team wins and they stand up and they kind of don't care and they look really disillusioned and they don't really touch the trophy and they're just sort of like hands in pockets, like, what are we supposed to do, you know? And there's like confetti and there's a host, but their mic isn't working, so the casters are trying to fill, and then there's like some awkward moment where the host just starts talking because he doesn't have an in-ear and the casters don't know when to throw or what to do, and then they just kind of say goodbye and it ends and you're like, oh my God, that tournament was so awesome, but that was such a shitty ending moment. And then the third one is really like the ultra forced hype where the confetti pops out and there's like fucking fireworks and explosions are everywhere, and there's some host who's like, World 2020, and it's just like so unbelievably. And we touched on that a little bit. Ian was very, very excited at the end. But it was organic energy, and that's the thing. It might have been a little too high, but it was natural and organic and real, and that's what made it work. Sometimes the fireworks are like, Jesus, guys, okay, are we risking somebody's hand getting blown off by like this celebration moment? Is this really worth it? You know, that kind of thing. So I was really grateful that Hazel had a real celebration moment. You know, she choked up a little bit. She did this live interview. Like she didn't grab the trophy right away, but her and Eric had like this great hug and this great like sportsmanship moment. There's a great picture of the two of them kind of like, I don't know, he's like kind of holding her up and she's holding the trophy, and it's like, I don't know, a really cool camaraderie moment, and that really made me happy. And I loved that she took a selfie with it, you know, like she's on the stage and she's just clearly having like a, oh my God, I can't believe it, this is so amazing moment. It's like real emotional expression. She walks up, takes a fucking selfie with the trophy, starts cheering around, jumping up and down on the stage, like literally jumping in circles. That's the shit I want to see. You know, that was so real, so pure, so wholesome. God, man, that ending moment had me walking away with such a high feeling, just ending on that high note and capturing like a real human side of Axie. And I think ultimately that's what made this event so cool. And any little road bump or a little stumble or, you know, when there was a mic that wasn't quite tuned right, it was made up for by the fact that we got to see all these people in person. And even though Theben and I were remote and we really wanted to be there, just being able to like watch it and see their expressions and like work some of their body language into the commentary, you know, to be able to say like, okay, Hazel looks tired right now, or Eric looks really confident, or like you see those moments where Bornak is dancing and taunting when he's winning, and then he starts losing, and you see like was it Jillian, or I forget who he was playing in the lower bracket. But I remember those looks where she was totally stone cold, and then she starts winning and she starts talking shit back, and it's like, yes, this is so human. Like it humanizes the Axie experience, because I think anybody that has tried to grind at all on ladder has experienced those moments, like those highs and lows where either you get lucky or you make a really big outplay, or you really read your opponent well and you get a bunch of energy steals and then you take an easy win. You're like, God, I'm so good. And when the opposite happens, when they totally read you, or you get unlucky a few games in a row, or you get matched up against a hard counter a few games in a row, you're just like, I want to break something. And being able to see that from these influencer types that are larger than life, a giant Eric Tai over here, and to see him still humanize that experience and feel that connection of, man, he has the same issues that I do. I made that misplay, and seeing these giant, celebrity type figures also make some of the same human mistakes that the rest of us do in this competitive environment. I think something about that translates, and I don't know. I think overall it was really a great success, and that feels really good. And now looking forward, I think we want to try to copy paste this a little bit, make our Creator Cup stamp and move this thing around to some different cultures and some different places. Let's do a Spanish version, let's do a Portuguese version, let's do just a general European version, let's do an Eastern European Russian version, let's do a North America, let's do the Canadian version there, bud. What's going on? Let's meet up in Vancouver there. Let's see what's up. Let's head over to the Maritimes, eh? I would love to do a Canadian Creator Cup, dude. That would be so fucking fun, actually. I just want any excuse to go to Canada. Every single time I've been to Canada, I've had an amazing time. I've been to Montreal, I've been to Toronto, I've been to Vancouver, and Halifax is the one big remaining. And I gotta get up to, what is it, Saskatchewan. I want to swing by Ottawa. What's that? Calgary. That's it. Edmonton is another one. That's... man, there's still, all right, I got to get around. I still got a lot of places in Canada I got to see, but I've seen the cities, all right? I'm a city slicker at heart. Good seafood in Vancouver as well. Oh, yeah, the bot is probably pretty angry. The mods changed a lot of, had to change a lot of words because, we weren't planning on using this channel for the broadcast, and... I think the SLP spam was overwhelming. So I wouldn't be surprised if SLP will get you timed out. So sorry about that, folks. But who would I say is the BSJ of Axie? I don't know that we have one. I think that title is still open. Axie is still early, man. So we still have a lot of slots to fill. I don't think we have a BSJ yet. But one day we can dream. Maybe one day BSJ will see the light and come over to Axie, dude. You never know. So anyway, I think the idea is to try to rubber stamp this and do more Creator Cups and have this be just a fun kind of show match style, content-driven content vertical that we do with Axie Infinity and make it an ongoing thing. I don't know when the next one will be or where it will be, but I think this was a great proof of concept, and I need to dig into the numbers, and it would have been nice to see slightly more viewership on the English stream. But you got to remember that this tournament wasn't really for the English audience as much as it was really for the Filipino audience. I think Jiho's tweet was just absolutely perfect the way he encapsulated that. It's a celebration of our amazing Philippines community and also our amazing content creators, and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't watch it, definitely go back and check out the VODs. Again, we're going to get those up on YouTube probably today and tomorrow. We're strategizing the best way to upload them, actually, because it seems like the individual series, I don't know if they're long enough. So we might just do the segment chunks and upload them in kind of hour intervals and just upload the event that way. So it's a little more digestible, throw it in a playlist. We'll be tweeting it out. So, of course, stay tuned to the Twitter. And it'll probably be put on the Facebook as well, since that stream was so insanely successful. I mean, the engagement was just unbelievable. Facebook has this weird thing where there's an 8-hour limit on any given broadcast. So it lined up kind of perfectly for us where 8 hours was right as we were hyping up the grand finals. And the grand finals took a decent amount of time, especially when you include like the, trophy ceremony and the final part of the broadcast. So at hour 8, stream cuts. We started again within like 3 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's not a big deal. This is just a technical limitation of Facebook. There was no way around this. But this will probably hurt our viewership. It didn't hurt our viewership at all. People just tuned right back in. Weren't tweeting out the specific stream link. We were just tweeting out the Facebook page. So people had like the general landing page to get to it. And man, the viewership just skyrocketed. And that last hour broadcast, I think it's literally like a 1 hour and 5 minute VOD. It peaked at like 45,000 concurrents. I think it's like 7,000 days of broadcast time consumed, like the viewer minutes across all of the different viewers, how much time was watched. It's some staggering amount. So man, the huge turnout from the Filipino audience. So shout out to you guys. It's much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed it, and it seemed like the feedback was mostly positive from what I saw. And it seemed like the creators really enjoyed it as well. I talked to a couple of them. I want to follow up with all of them, but from what I heard, reports on site were that everybody had a great time. And per usual, like bonds were forged, right? And that's what's really cool about this stuff. I've said this before, like the Axie meetups and these early events like this, it's not just about celebrating Axie and going to a party. It's about having a catalyst to connect people and bring them together. It's having a reason for people to turn up and bring 300 or 400 people or something into one location and say, hey, you guys are awesome. We're awesome. It's great to meet you. Let's take some pictures. Let's answer some questions. Let's get excited. Let's hang out. And then when Jiho and I leave, those folks are now in touch and they're empowered to start building out that local community, doing meetups of their own, and that can lead to new social bonds, new business bonds, and new innovation. Right, putting people together, having them exchange ideas. This is how we turn the wheel. Right, this is how new stuff gets formed. This is how community is built. So it's much more than just like hanging out and drinking. It's about bringing people together, and that happens on like a community side from like scholars and players. And there's a lot of amazing scholarships out there that enable meetups for their scholars remotely. As a manager in North America, they'll pay one of their how do you say it? Like trusted scholars to organize an event and, pay for a venue and some food and bring everybody together so they can actually have a real social element to the stuff that we're building. And I think that stuff is really awesome. And we need that to happen on a high level. These 8 creators, not all of them were in touch or friends before this event. But now some of them might be, Had Myrtle and Yasi really been close before? I don't know. I just picked 2 random names, but it's a pretty wide spread of talent and players that participated in this. So bringing them together and giving them like a shared cause in terms of competing in this tournament is a way to forge some bonds, make some connections, and who knows, maybe that will lead to more talent collaborations in the future. Maybe some of these broadcast talent will now be more bullish on Axie and, expand their scholarship or buy some land or invest in a Mystic. I don't know. And maybe that doesn't happen right now, right? Maybe this is just the beginning of that daisy chain where we do another Creator Cup in the Philippines next year. And now we have this list of talent that are all really excited and place a positive memory around it. All these things matter. All these things kind of add up. And all of them go into, why this is the kind of content we're investing in right now. So feels good to end the year with something a little more produced. Maybe that's a good word for it. It's really hard to bring people on site in this climate, and I'm glad we're able to do it. Everybody was tested for COVID, by the way. I didn't see too many people asking about it because I think crypto is pretty libertarian adjacent, but we had PCR tests for everybody that was there on site, the crew, the attendees, and the attendees like assistants or staffers, basically anybody that came into the building. So I think all is well there, and we made every effort to make sure it was a safe environment and everybody felt comfortable, participating and doing all this stuff. We weren't sure that this would be possible, but with the help of Ian to organize everything, I think she was the key player that allowed us to really bring this whole event together. So that was also a win, I suppose. At first, we wanted to do this with 16 players and maybe expand it a little bit, but with the COVID restrictions, we thought that might be too complicated, and we decided to go a little bit smaller, and then we expanded the bracket instead and did the full double elimination. Obviously, we did have to turn some of the best of 5s into best of 3s because yeah, it already went long. 9 hours was longer than we thought. The original schedule was intended to be 6. I said it was more likely that 6 would be like 7 or 8, and it ended up being closer to like 9. So there you have it. There you have it. There should be a true site of Axie. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the kind of content that we would love to make and maybe preemptively think about if we ever start. Once we start committing to more, like the first AxieCon, whenever it is, wherever it is, I feel like we should just hire a documentary crew preemptively just to start shooting stuff, just to even start shooting some of the preparation. It could make for some cool content. Even if we don't make like an AxieCon documentary, it might be useful in some sort of like long-term Axie documentary where we might be glad that we filmed some stuff behind the scenes, just even without a plan, just to have the content. I'm very bullish on that, honestly. I think people love that kind of stuff too. I think behind the scenes content really is, it's like some of the coolest stuff that you can make that's still organic. Like I just rewatched The Last Dance, the Bulls Michael Jordan documentary. It's so good. It's so insanely good. And what makes it good is that they actually have the footage, right? If you made that same documentary without the behind the scenes footage, like if Jordan and the team didn't give like the unprecedented access to the camera crew, it would have been a really shitty documentary. It's the same story, but a totally different lens on the story in terms of what you're actually watching. So I don't know, very, very bullish, very bullish. Last Dance is 11 out of 10. Yeah, I would put it that way. So like Tiger King was similar, right? Where the story is pretty shit, and without all that footage, it's a shitty documentary. But what makes Tiger King like kind of compelling, air quotes, is that they had like there was that one documentarian guy that was there that filmed all that shit. He had all that footage of just filming Joe doing all this ridiculous, stupid shit. So what would seem unbelievable if somebody were just telling you those stories actually is entirely believable because you're watching a movie of this guy doing all this crazy shit. And like every other good piece of content, you're like, I want to see where this train wreck is going. I know this guy's going off the rails. I'm on episode 2. I got 4 episodes to go. I know this is terrible for my brain, but I got to see the conclusion to this thing. The behind the scenes footage is what kind of creates that whole psychological mechanism. So what you gonna do? So yeah, a lot of stuff on the horizon, and I think Axie Esports and Origin is setting us up to be in a really fun time. I've said this kind of privately on some phone calls and stuff, but I really think this snapshot right now, like if you were to look at this point in time for Axie, like starting 2 months in the past and then looking 2 months in the future, and maybe a little bit more, maybe plus or minus 3. This is a really wild time. Like we're amidst the deployment of some really game-changing stuff for the ecosystem when it comes to like the DEX, the mobile app, Ron, the deployment of Ron as like right now you can't unwrap it, so everybody's farming this token and it's purely speculative as to what it's worth. It's like a real fair launch kind of thing to manage this whole ecosystem. It's a wild time. Like this is like once in a lifetime kind of stuff. Like these sort of tokens are. We're not going to deploy Ron like that. Ron's little sister anytime soon. It's like it's just Ron. It's same with Origin, and I think we maybe regret the nomenclature of calling it version 2 because I think people then jump to like, well, what about version 3? Are you just going to keep changing things for the sake of changing things so that I gotta make more Axies? And it's like, no, this is just like. Where we're at right now, version 1 of Battles, we're only using 4 parts of Axies, right? If you looked at the leak that we posted at the last dev chat, there were cards there for ears and eyes. So let's think for a moment. What is going to be added to Origin? Well, if you're thinking that maybe ears and eyes will have cards attached to them and we're moving to a 6-part Axie world, then all right, cool. What's the next expansion after that? Like, is your theory that Axies are magically going to grow like 2 more body parts and we're going to have 8-part Axies? Like, I guess I should never say never, but like, I don't think that's happening, dude. Like the Axie themselves are like pretty immutable, right? And again, with Axie DAO, if we all agree that, hey, Axies need another part, let's make Axies that have a 7th part. Hey, man, once the DAO is in control, if the DAO agrees and it passes whatever threshold and there's a plan to implement that, it's possible. It really could happen, but I don't think that's anything that we're planning on while Axie is like centralized under the Sky Mavis umbrella, right? So this is like a really unique time where this only happens once. We only make this jump from like, you know, it's a 4-part Axie battle world to a 6-part Axie battle world. That kind of happens one time, right? That's a once in a lifetime sort of thing from an Axie universe perspective. So that just positions us like some of the road bumps and issues we're facing right now, I think are truly unique to the times. And like 6 months from now, we're going to look back and be like, man, you guys remember that crazy bear mark? Hey, do you guys remember that wild time when Ron was still... You remember when we couldn't unwrap our Ron, man? You remember those times when we didn't even know what it was worth? Can you believe somebody thought it was going to be worth $100 at launch, man? You know, like that's going to be us like 6 or 12 months from now. And it'll be similar with Origin. When we're crowning that world champion of Axie in however far in the future, I think we're going to look back and go, man, those were wild times. And... yeah, we're amidst some really exciting product deployment, man. Axie's been around for 4 years, guys. Axie has a lot of skin in the game here, and a lot of things have been in production for literally years. And it's wild for us to finally be thinking about, hey, the finish line is in sight, and we're going to be able to deploy some of this stuff that's been in the works for a really long time. I just twitched thinking about it, dude. Like it's so insanely, it's really exciting. It's a really exciting time. So it's one of these moments where you got to think long, and at a certain point, this is a bit of a trust fall. This is one of these moments where you got to trust us or not. Those are kind of the 2 options. And again, Axie DAO future is very real, and that community decision making is a big part of our future. But at this particular moment, right, Axie is at a huge turning point in expanding this whole ecosystem. And you know, it's December 5th, so how far away are we from being able to unwrap our Ron? I'm not sure exactly, but I don't know. A decent amount of time has passed since the Dex has come out. Maybe let's put it that way. Let's not forget that Japanese parts have interesting abilities too. It's true, they do have unique ability names. Skin and feet. 8-part Axies must be great. Give them skin and feet. There you go, feet parts. That could be a thing. Their feet are pretty stubby and open-ended. Put sneakers on them. Maybe it's just cosmetics layers. Jackets and sneakers, or hats and shirts or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny. July 2021, when all of us were sleeping at 3 a.m. because of server issues. Look how far we've come. That's really true. Light Gaming makes a great point. Remember, not that long ago, Axie was having serious server issues where like we couldn't even play, where we had so many users, we had to turn off core features because the servers couldn't handle it. Yeah, that's not ancient history yet, although I guess in crypto time, 6 months ago, it sort of does feel like ancient history. Man. That's wild. That's great perspective, though. It really is. Feb 2 will be 90 days after Dex release. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why sometimes the extreme SLP spam can feel a little overwhelming sometimes in terms of the volume of noise that it makes, because I see a lot of tweets these days of people saying, when are you guys going to do something, or like lazy devs don't do anything. And I'm over here sitting like, didn't we launch the Dex and the mobile wallet like within the last 30 days? Like, aren't we just cooling down from a pretty aggressive product sprint where we released a whole bunch of things? Like, we're in the middle of releasing Ron right now. I get that Ron is a little bit like back end and kind of unsexy compared to SLP and earnings. Like it's definitely not 1-to-1 or anything, but we're always working on it, man. There's like 90 employees at Sky Mavis. They're all working full time and then some to move this ship as quickly as we can. You know, we're building a boat, and you know we've got like 2 or 3 sails, and we really need like 4 or 5. So we're working on standing up the extra masses as much as the mast as best we can. But you know, it's slow and steady. Chopping wood ain't necessarily the sexiest back end work, but we're chopping away, boys. Don't worry. It's tough out there. So we're going as quick as we can, as always. And you got to remember with blockchain stuff, like I was talking to somebody on a call, I think last week, where I drew an analogy to like the Cyberpunk game, and how in the centralized world, you can actually like it's possible to ship a game like that just isn't done. That's riddled with bugs and, you know, whatever parts don't work, but the general gist of the game works and the audience is really hungry and you've missed the timeline and whatever. Like you can launch that, and your real risk is like people don't like it or the bugs ruin the gameplay. But for a game like that, there isn't really any risk of, hey, if this game sucks, somebody's going to steal my money. You know, there's no real like security exploit for a single player game like that where you're just running around in this universe killing cyberpunk stuff. In the Axie universe, like everything has to be audited. You know, everything has to be thoroughly tested and as ironclad as we can make it when it comes to like smart contracts and trying to live up to this like code is law mantra that often comes up in the Ethereum ecosystem. Like the worst case scenario for us is that we launch the DEX and it doesn't work, or it somehow gets compromised and people lose trust in the the stability of our ecosystem and what we're doing with DeFi. So that like security is a really big deal. And when your wallet is the thing that you use to like log into the game and, you know, it's connected to everything, the security points really, really matter. And I think for us, there are definitely some ways to fail still. And that's one of them, like shipping code that isn't ready, that is somehow exploitable. So it's a longer process than you might think to get some of that stuff audited and checked out. And that's part of why deadlines are hard, because that stuff takes as long as it takes. You know, it's not like we can go to auditing firms and say, hey, can you do this in 2 weeks instead of 4? Like it takes them as long as it takes to check the stuff that we send them. And, you know, sure, they can give us estimates and stuff, but, you know, app stores are a similar thing. Like, it's not like with a game like this, you just apply to be in the app store and they go, all right, sure, you're in. Here you go, bud. Like, there's a process there, right? And there's checkpoints at the process that sometimes have a gray area amount of time that it takes to get through the checkpoint. Sometimes it's testing, sometimes it's negotiations, sometimes it's just like, hey, this thing isn't compatible with this thing. Where's the converter to make these two things compatible? Sometimes you might have to build a converter, right? Oh, fuck. I was going to go to Tashi Station to get some power converters. They don't fit, man. So anyway, all that is just a little perspective, and just to say that that kind of stuff is often what makes deadlines challenging, and where our focus is at. Like when we say like quality is number one, security is kind of under that bubble of quality, right? So it is just really important that stuff is maximized in terms of, hey, we have to guarantee this works, and we have to minimize the chances that this stuff is going to break on a really high level, especially from a security perspective, at all cost. That's like paramount. Anyway, I digress. So let's watch a couple of clips. I don't want this to go on too long, and I do have some meetings today, mostly just casual meetings. They're fun meetings, guys. They're fun. Let me just hop into studio mode real quick because I don't want to screw up my overlays here. Oh, okay. There we go. So some clips from yesterday. Where do we want to start? Game 3 of Myrtle. So are these, can I sort these in order? Top 30 days, 7 days, 24 hours. I hate that they always use the original title for some of these streams, so they're all just labeled test. That's awful. Let's maybe do 7 days. Is this going to help? Yeah. We have our champion.
He knows.
So this is the very ending moment where it was a little bit like
he knows
back and forth.
He knows.
So she's got this mech, and she actually has the damage.
Waiting the last seconds, like he's just praying something miraculous is gonna happen.
Praying to the Jiho gods
Here it
that
is,
somehow
the
these
Axie
crits aren't
Kid,
going to happen.
blade.
The lethal, the crit, 3-3-1, a 1-7-1 to follow up, and it's Azalea that takes it. She's going to be the winner.
Wow.
The hug to finish it off. She can't believe it. She's stunned. They go for the good manners. It's time to grab the trophy. Raise it high. She's going to show off her Axies instead. Look at this girl. She's proud of this Axie lineup. She's proud of her work today. Very well done. I love it. She's like, I paid thousands of dollars for these Axies.
Well deserved. Like everything she had to go through. Just remember that in the lower bracket, it was when Jill made that mistake that gave the opening for Hazel to actually get to the finals.
Ian's so excited. I love the.
She amazing. Well deserved.
I love that. I love that jump where she's just like, oh my God. I also love that she points at her Axies too. That's like the most adorable thing I've ever seen where like it ends, they hug. She's going to be the winner. Wow. The hug to finish it off. She can't believe it. She's stunned. They go for the good manners. It's time to grab the trophy. Raise it high. So Theban and I were like joking about how, what are they going to do first? They're going to go for the handshake or are they going to go for the trophy? And like, look at that face, dude. Look at that. She's like, look at these fucking Axies right here. Look at these things. They carried me. I love it, dude. That's so cool. Let's try this one. I love the music. I love that she pets it too. She pets it and kisses it. The poses. Then she jumps up and down and spins in a circle. Dude, it's like the greatest trophy moment I've ever seen. She's standing perfectly under the lights too.
Love it.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Yo. Incredible.
Just amazing. And now, as every good gamer does, to take a selfie with the trophy.
Is that the new way to celebrate? Just take the selfie right away.
This is one of the greatest celebrations to an esports win I think I've ever seen. Amazing energy, amazing love. Look at the lighting. She's a shining star right now. Cut off right as I was going to say all those really nice words about being a shining star. I want to take a screenshot, dude. Am I in 1080p? Yeah, let's take a screeny, dude. This is so amazing. Just watching this is making me smile right now.
Love it.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Yo. Incredible.
Just amazing. And now, as every good gamer does. All right, here we go. Stupid activate windows. There we go. To take a selfie with the trophy.
Is that the new way to celebrate? Just take the selfie right away.
This is one of the greatest celebrations to an esports win I think I've ever seen. Amazing energy, amazing love. Look at the lighting. She's a shining star right now. All right, let's check out the grand final entrances. This was hype too. I was just letting it ride. I was like, this is hype as hell. Let's let the trophy speak for itself. Look at this thing. Dude, look at Hazel, dude. So badass. I love the walkout. Eric's getting it too. The music is perfect. Like, I feel like every esports event needs music like this. It is supposed to be bad luck to touch the trophy too, and she still won. I think Theban and I might have been talking over that, and they just didn't have us turned on. There were some moments where it wasn't exactly clear if they wanted us to talk or not. So we assumed that we were just on mic the whole time. So there were a couple of moments where I'm pretty sure we were doing commentary that whole time as they were walking out and talking about their entrances. It's all good, but
2-0.
it's pretty funny.
Damn.
Stalwart in his
amazing.
composition as well. Going to play the same comp two matches in a row. I love it.
And he's gonna what? Secure himself top 6 already? Eruption?
Yeah.
You know
That's true.
what?
Oh, and the 1 HP also. That's just the demoralizer. That's what I call those. The straight demoralizer. But congratulations to Eruption. Yay! You see the confetti in the background. Perfect.
Yeah. At least we don't have to see Eruption snap Bornok.
So that was the very first series, actually. That was the very first opener. We were still kind of like, wow, look how cool the set is. Let's see. Cuckoo unleashes his final form.
Then
Let's see.
there's also Shrimp with a Immortal Plant as well. That is also another really strong team at the moment where the Shrimp goes to the back, kills off the mech first, and then
He's
Immortal
taking
Plant
it off.
back. Ooh, okay,
Oh,
all
shit,
right.
bro.
It's
The
getting
YGG's
real.
coming off.
It's
He's
getting
suiting
real.
up. Oh, here it is. All right, Cuckoo has arrived, folks. From Gohan to Goku, from regular Saiyan to Super Saiyan.
Gohan
He's
to
ready.
Goku? What do you
Steven was immediately like, what the fuck are you talking about? Gohan to Goku. He's like, Gohan did the heavy lifting. Did you even watch Dragon Ball Z? Let's see what this one is. This is the intros.
Super excited ako sa lahat ng ating participants. And again, those are our 8 participants. And I can't wait to get started and see who is gonna stand out.
Dude, look at the SLP in the back.
And may the Axie God, Jihos, it's time.
Jihos, it is time. A draw in game? Let's see here. Amazing card draw by Jillian.
Wow.
Let's see
Taking it
Jillian's
easy,
card
playing the
draw.
drums on the desk, man.
Yeah. Oh, there
Hazel
it is.
not tilted at
No.
all.
Hit. Who is that? Jillian going in for the kill already on the bird. I mean, this is not going to be enough damage
Oh
to
my
kill it.
gosh.
But you can stop the bird from being able to use the post fight. Oh no, he doesn't have a hero. Oh no, Hazel's bird is dead. There was a hero there. I didn't even notice the follow up. The 0-cost hero killing off the bird.
Because of the aroma, dude.
That's it.
I didn't even
Wow.
understand what
Okay,
happened.
So we were just talking about how much the card draw matters in the mere matchup. My gosh, I don't think we could have been more on point with that bit of analysis. That was it right there, folks. You just saw it. That a clip says, was a picture says 1,000 words. A clip says 1,000,000. Tilted. at
No.
all.
So
Who is that?
normally
Jillian
what they
going in
do
for the
is use
kill
like the
already on
debuff
bird, so
remove
this is not gonna be enough
for like poison
damage
and
to
stuff,
kill
but
it.
in this case,
But
you get
can
the
stop the
aroma
bird
and then you
from
transfer the
being able to
debuff,
use
so then
the
this
post
next
fight.
attack actually
Oh, no,
follows
there's
up
a
on the
hero.
bird.
Oh no, Hazel's bird
That is
dead.
so sick.
There was a hero there.
Yeah,
I didn't
Jillian's a
notice the
killer, dude. She
follow-up.
doesn't even
0-cost
react either.
hero
She's just
killing
sitting
off
there
the
like,
bird.
yeah, I just made a god tier play.
it.
Your bird's dead. See you later. That was the rivalry of the tournament, Hazel and Jillian, dude. All right, let's see what else we have here.
To 170, I think.
170. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Jillian's going for it. Do it, Jillian. You
Round
might have another
14.
turn after this one.
Yeah, I think this is it. This is your chance. And it might not be enough. I understand her hesitance.
Yeah, no,
But
honestly,
you got to shoot your shot.
I'm telling you, Jillian has played this so well so far.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe, you know, how well she's played this, and how cool and calm she's played it. And Eruption is still playing it slow. That's it. I think Eruption
Did
is the
she
one
just
who's
do it?
Eruption's dead. She did it.
She mathed it, dude. Look at his face, dude.
No way.
Zigzag. Cactus.
Yep. That's it.
Cactus. He's
And
dead.
then that's 170 damage from the Blood Moon. 170 from the Blood Moon. That's it.
God, that was sick. That was actually so good. I remember that moment. Man, there were a lot of great clips from this tournament. We had 2 back-to-back matches where it was round 14, then round 15, I think. Melee versus ranged cards. Theben dropping some knowledge bombs. I wonder what all these clips are. All right, let's check out some of the top ones here. So Charis versus Cuckoo game
Shield
3.
available. Like, he plays the hair and then a pigeon post here, but the problem is the second Fishknack that comes out next turn is also going to be very annoying for Cuckoo. Like, having no 0 cost on his backliner against his bug is a disaster. I can't believe it. I think Cha got this. She's got this, like...
He looks stumped. Cuckoo, the reality is setting in right now.
Oh no, he's dead.
And he just passes. That's it. It's
That's
over.
it. It's over. She did
Cuckoo's
it.
been eliminated in the first round.
so
Cha can't even
surprised.
process it. Look at her face. Is like, what just happened? I just beat Cuckoo.
Wow.
I just beat Cuckoo on the main stage of the Axie Creator Cup.
I like how I said main stage as if there's a side stage. This was Bornok dancing.
So Bornok right now is just like trying to play it very chill, you know, just try to do some damage, chip away, like keep this bug alive as long as he can.
All right,
One
don't
turn,
look at it.
I can watch the draw.
I think he should have went with the Gravelant here.
Is this the
now-
crit? Is this the crit? Oh. Oh my gosh, it's
man.
enough. Azalea's got it.
It's a draw. It's a draw.
Is it going to draw?
It's a draw.
Oh my gosh, it's a game 1 draw.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh my
well,
goodness.
now I'm glad that we've decided to change the schedule to best of 3s. You can see Azalea frustrated. She thought
was
she had the
crazy.
game 1. Cuckoo looking smug as a bug in
Smug as a bug in a rug. What a saying. I feel like I sound old when I listen to myself talk.
Sa nanonood.
Yes! Hi, everybody! Kamusta kayo? How are you guys doing?
Okay naman, kinakabahan.
Kinakabahan from kanina.
I think
Tapos
that third
hanggang
headset
mamaya.
was broken. Everybody who had it was like inaudible. There was something wrong with that mic.
Enjoy ako kasi sa tagal na naglalaro ako ng Axie, tapos sa tagal na marami ko na na-meet na mga players, na mga naging scholars ko. Sobrang nag-enjoy ako na finally nagkaroon ng isang Creator Cup and it's happening first in the Philippines.
Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Any other clips? Any other clips? Is
That.
this-
So she held off, you know, went to turn 3 after using the post fight, knows that her Axie ID is lower on her bird, and manages to clutch the win. Like, it's so good. Like, that's what you need. Sometimes you also need that little bit of luck, right? Like, you drawing the little owl, opponent not drawing the little owl as well, maximizing your odds. And now we got ourselves a game 5.
Yeah, no, it's not just about crits, right? That is one random element, but still.
I did that
draw.
blinking thing. I have this weird tick sometimes where I hyper blink when I'm thinking. I shouldn't point it out because now you're
she
going to
held
notice
off.
it.
It's not just about crits, right? That is one random element.
blinked
but
like
still
8
deck
times in a
draw.
row.
That
That. So
I remember the first time somebody pointed that out to me. I was like, oh, that's really weird. I should stop doing that. That was 7 years ago. Oh, God. Some habits die hard, I guess. All right. I was trying to think if there are any other specific clips I wanted to watch, and there probably are some, but let me check. Where's the old Twitter? This was a nice tweet from Gabby. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can actually read it. There we go. That was a very nice tweet. Axie Esports Twitter. Pretty good. 100 retweets or so. Oh, I know what I wanted to watch. It wasn't a clip. That was why I forgot. Past broadcasts. And I hate this shit. Why does it save it as test?
Yeah, as soon as she gets.
Can I edit this? Aha. Axie Creator. Actually, we'll do this. EN. Axie Creator Cup live from the Philippines. I actually know how to spell Philippines now. I always used to put too many L's in it for some reason. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, as long as.
Of this event until then.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
To an esports win I think I've ever seen. Amazing energy. Midnight Oil, you helped carry the show from an analytical perspective.
So I just wanted to play the closing word here. So I think I want to clip this anyway. So I'll probably do it after the stream. But I wanted to run it back. We might as well just watch it live. We'll see. I'll analyze it in real time.
You brought the knowledge, you did the research, and I couldn't have done it without you, man. So thank you for just being here. I mean, I can't believe that from Dota Pro to Axie Pro, like it's a hell of a journey, and we're just getting started, brother. I can't wait to see where this thing's leading us to.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute blast, and yeah, we're just getting started. Like you said, there's a bright future for Axie Infinity, and this was just a little peek into what's to come. I'm just so bullish on the future of LAN gameplay for Axie Infinity. I can see that it's incredibly entertaining, and I feel like all the audience at home can agree with that too.
Absolutely. Our great nation is still like maybe 20% deployed, folks. We still have so much building to do on the Sky Mavis side, on the Axie DAO side, and on the community side as well. We couldn't do it without you, and together we're going to build this community to be the best possible form of itself. So be kind to yourselves and be kind to each other. That's all I have to say to close this one out. A big thank you to the production crew behind the scenes that made this possible. On site, ARC Studios, they did an amazing job putting this together. It wouldn't have been possible without them. Of course, to all the co-founders and employees at Sky Mavis that are working tirelessly on Axie Infinity to try to make it the best version of itself. It's not an easy task, folks, and our team is working as hard as they can always to deliver the best possible product that we can. So we thank you for bearing with us, and this is truly just the beginning. Have a great rest of the year. We have so much in store for Axie Esports that we're not quite ready to announce yet, but trust me, big stuff is coming. Big things are happening. Axie Origins are around the corner, and we're looking forward to it. So with that said, we bid you adieu. Theban, I'm sure we'll be at it again, my friend. Take care, and we'll see you in the future.
All right, that was a pretty good closer. That was pretty good. It was like it's like a 7.5 out of 10.
Made this possible on site ARCs.
After I said my closing line, I remembered there were a bunch of other things I needed to say. So I should have said, "Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other," as literally the last line of the whole thing. So I screwed up the order and I said "best version of itself" verbatim twice. So 2 blunders, not the best, but still clippable. I'll probably still post it. Hey, live in New York, Axie chat. Hey, look at these cool, I forgot about this. You want to hold both phones, or should I hold this one? All right, so. Don't worry. I love how every IRL stream starts the same way.
We're on the way to the Axie Chat podcast at, what's the name of this event? The Dave one? This community Axie meetup?
Yeah.
Dave versus Axie.
Dave versus Axie.
Shout out to Dave.
I may or may not get in because I cannot find my ticket.
That's good. We got programmatically pull. Sky Mavis.
Damn, I look so cool
here.
in that coat.
Hey trainers, it's Michael.
Hey trainers, it's Michael from Sky Mavis Support.
Oh my god, dude. That's one of, like, in my head, that is one of the greatest Axie meme lines ever, and nobody else even thinks it's a joke. Hey guys, it's Michael from Sky Mavis Support. There's just something about the way he says it. It always sounds so like serious and downtrodden, like, hey guys, it's Michael from Sky Mavis Support. They made me make another support video. Here it is.
This was another very nice tweet. Myrtle in front of the trophy. Great picture. I have a bunch that were just a bunch of other positive feedback. Congrats to Azalea. I saw Azalea's up like, she's almost at 6,000 followers now. I think she had 1,800 when the event started. So that's also cool to see some like proof of concept in terms of building storylines. Like that's something else we're trying to do with these events is, create storylines between the players and the personalities. So, we have like our first champion here. So now when this next tournament shows up, it's like, hey, we know who Azalea is. She has this cool tournament history. She's like the only person that has an Axie trophy. Like right now, it's fair to say she has the coolest Axie trophy in existence. So to be one-upped in the future for sure. But for right now, she's got the crown. And I loved this picture as well. I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole thing. Oops. After she won the trophy with a steak dinner. I love it. I love that this picture is just like, I went out on a date with the Axie trophy. And we got steak. And I got a steak for the trophy too. And then I ate both of them. I love it, dude. It's so badass. That's how you party. That's how you do it. That's how you celebrate the win. Oh, man. Anyway. All right, very cool. Well, that was fun. That was cathartic, folks. Thank you for joining me. There's still a lot to come. I just wanted to hop on stream and chat a little bit. I think we're actually going to be back later. I'm doing an interview, a real casual chat with one of my friends that just finished his thesis, and he did it on toxicity. I think toxicity as it relates to like gaming and the internet and some of these other things. So we're going to be doing like a casual podcast in... is it 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that? So I actually have a meeting in between. So we're going to kill the stream. I'm going to come back later, and we'll probably do a take 2 today. So mark your calendars. Come on back. And I think it's in 2.5 hours. I think if you come back then, you'll be in good shape. So it's been an absolute pleasure, though. Thank you so much for watching the event. Appreciate all the engagement on Twitch and Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. Couldn't do it without y'all. That's for sure.